Hi, I'm Mark, this is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of the custom blinds from SmartWings which support Matter. So SmartWings are a company who manufacture fully custom blinds for your home. And on top of that, they're custom blinds that are smart. That means they can work with things like Matter and Apple Home and all sorts of other third-party services. In addition to that, you can also get remote controls to control them and solar panels so you never have to charge them. And SmartWings are in fact based in Texas in the USA, but they do ship out of China. The great thing is they actually ship for free all across the world. Now SmartWings did reach out to me and offered to send me a set of blinds to review for you guys, so the blinds you see in this video are fully custom to my window, but I haven't paid for them. This is however not a sponsored video, and SmartWings have absolutely no idea what I'm going to say about their blinds until this review goes live. And this basically means I can make sure I keep making honest reviews for you guys. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the ordering process, all the different types of blinds you can get on the SmartWings website, but then also my experience of receiving them, getting them all set up, and then using them for the last couple of weeks. So let's start off and do a high-level kind of overview of what you can actually get from SmartWings. So on the SmartWings website, you can get blinds with a whole variety of blackout options. You can also get a whole variety of shade types, including Roman shades, zebra shades, roller shades, and even shades that are woven wooden shades. These come in a whole variety of colours, allowing you to personalise it to your home, and you can order samples if you want to as well. Now the blinds you're going to see throughout this video are the Roman shades in white, and they are 100% blackout. Now looking around on SmartWings website, the cheapest blinds you can get are around £139, and that's for filtering shades. And that's based on a window width up to 24 inches and then a 24-inch drop. Anything beyond that adds extra cost on. It's also worth noting that if, like me, you're used to measuring in centimetres, you're going to have to work out how to measure in inches in order to get the order in. When you order, you can also choose which type of motor you want. Now all of the motors are USB-C powered and have a battery inside as well. Now the default motor, which is included for free, just works with a remote control, but you will need to pay for that remote control. A Zigbee or Alexa motor will cost you an extra £30. A Z-Wave Plus motor will cost you an extra £56. A Apple HomeKit motor with thread built in will cost £80, and then the Matter over thread motor, which is what I've been using, will cost £95 more. Now whilst my whole smart home does run on Apple Home, I want to get the Matter over thread one because it's the most compatible and most future-proof. That means if in the future I did want to switch around what runs my smart home, I could do that. And personally, I'd recommend doing that because it gives you the most flexibility. If you want a solar panel so you'll never have to charge these, that will cost you an extra £50. And then you'll need at least one remote control. The standard 5-channel one will cost you £15. Now I guess in practice you don't have to have the remote control, but you will need it if you want to reprogram the blinds, but they do come all set up. It's kind of up to you whether you want to risk that or not, I guess. And then finally, during the order process, you can choose which side of the blind you want the motor to go on. So to put all that in perspective, let me tell you what I got and what that would have cost. So I got the white Roman shades with 100% blackout. Now my window is 39¾ inches wide and 65 inches tall. I went for the Matter over thread motor, I got a remote, and then also the solar panel. Now had SmartWings not offered to send me this for free, it would have cost £403. That includes shipping because shipping is always free. Now of course this is a lot to spend on a set of blinds, but actually they do feel high quality and they are fully custom. And I'd say having clicked through their site to try and experience the order process, it's actually a pretty good experience. They also have some instructions on how to measure your window, and of course that will depend on whether you're going to inside mount them or outside mount them. And this is a good time to move on to the spec. And as I said, there's a whole variety of different motors you can get and which different smart home technologies they work with, but all of these come with a 3-year warranty. For me, because I went for the Matter over thread motor, that is compatible with a wide variety of services. That includes Apple Home, Alexa, Google Home, Home Assistant, and SmartThings. Of course, you will need something that acts as your home hub in order to use this with Matter over thread. So for me, that's my Apple HomePod Minis. If you don't go for a solar panel, then the built-in battery life will last between 6 and 8 months. But I do recommend picking up a solar panel because it means you just never have to worry about charging them. If you don't, when it does need charging, the light on the blind will flash red, and you can also check the battery status in your smart home app of choice. In terms of noise levels, they're pretty quiet at 35 decibels. And then finally, the thing I really like as a cat owner is that these blinds are completely cordless. This is great if you do have cats who like to chase cords, but also if you've got children. So let's move on to setup. So the first thing you'll notice when these blinds arrive is that they are incredibly well packed, which is great. Now they actually took around a week to arrive from dispatch and they came from China, as I said, but that was actually longer than it should have taken due to a delay with UPS. In my package, I got the blinds, I got the solar panel, I got the remote, a USB-C cable, and some screws and raw plugs. Alongside that, there's a load of instructions as well. And fitting these blinds is pretty easy. So you get given two mounting brackets, and you want to secure these onto your window frame where you're going to mount these blinds. You can screw them up or screw them in. Now you want to make sure these are level and need to go roughly 4 inches from each end, but it doesn't have to be too precise because the blinds will clip in anywhere. Now I was inside mounting these, so once I had these brackets up, I simply clipped on the blinds. Next, I mounted the solar panel to the top of my window and plugged it into the blinds. The final stage is to pair them with your smart home app of choice. And you do this by holding down the button on the blind motor for 6 seconds until the light flashes or the blinds go up and down a little bit. For me, as an Apple user, I then went into Apple Home, I hit the plus and chose to add an accessory. I then scanned the included QR code, which came as a separate little card with it, so it was easy to scan. Now I recommend taking a photo of that card and storing it somewhere for later use if you do lose that little bit of card. It then added straight into Apple Home, I could give it a name and assign it to a room. And this whole process was seamless and really quick, and from taking down my old blinds to having new ones set up in Apple Home, I'd say it took me less than half an hour. Alongside this, I also added it into my morning and evening scene, so these blinds were ready to work with the other blinds around my house. And this is a good time to talk about design. So firstly, the material of the roller blinds feels really well made and high quality. One of the things I really like about the Roman shades is that the material does actually cover the top of the blinds as well, so they kind of look fully seamless and you can't really see the motor a lot of the time. The body of that motor area, however, is white, so it's not going to stick out on a white window anyway. Now the motor is around 10 centimeters deep, so it does protrude slightly, so if you're inside mounting, you're just going to want to bear that in mind. And these Roman shades in particular, as I said, have got a really high quality material, but also a slight texture to them, and they just feel like a really premium set of blinds. Now, one of the great things about Roman blinds is that because they don't roll 100% up, they actually conceal that solar panel stuck to the top of your window. But even if that solar panel does need to sit at the top of your window, I don't think it looks too bad, and it's also one of the slimmest solar panels I've ever seen for blinds. It's also worth noting that the included 3M tape for sticking it to your window is really sticky. That means in using it for the last couple of weeks, it hasn't fallen down. And I do think if you are getting smart blinds, you should get the solar panel option because it does mean you never have to worry about charging them. Now, the other thing to note about these blinds is that they have in fact survived the cat claw test. That means when my cats have clawed at them to get onto the windowsill, they haven't suffered any damage in the last couple of weeks. So let's talk about actually using these blinds. So the way I've got these set up is solely in Apple Home using Matter. And they are basically part of morning and evening automations for my Apple Home. That means at a certain time every morning they go up. And then at sunset every day they go down. This means they can work alongside my blinds magic blinds, but also my SwitchBot blind tilts. And these have worked well every single time as part of those automations when they run. Now initially I did actually have them set to only open to 50% during the day, but I felt like it made my room a bit dark, so I changed that to open to 100%. The great thing is though that via the Apple Home app, whether it's on your phone or your watch or your Mac or your iPad, you can easily adjust it to whichever percentage you want. You can even ask Siri to adjust it to a percentage that you want. This means if the sun is coming in maybe at the top of your window, you can easily just block out that sun so it doesn't blast over your TV. And of course you could set them to respond to light levels in your room or kind of anything you want really. And in terms of how quickly they respond, if you adjust them in the Apple Home app, I found it takes less than 2 seconds for them to respond, and often it's much quicker. They also operate pretty quietly, so let me show you how they sound. It's also a good time at this point to say that one thing you might be noticing is that they look a little bit wonky, and that's not because of how I mounted them, it's because my house is a bit wonky. It's an old house, it's stood for about 100 years, so nothing is straight. You can imagine the fun I have with DIY. We should also talk about that solar panel because it's pretty good at keeping them charged up. Now I didn't fully charge them when I got them, so they've basically been in the kind of mid 50% in the last couple of weeks since I got them. Now one of the really interesting things about this solar panel compared to other solar panels I've used on blinds before is it actually reflects in Apple Home if it's charging them or not based on the levels of sunlight. What I found with other blinds is that if you've got them plugged in, it will show that they're charging regardless of if there's enough sunlight for the solar panel to do its thing or not. These do reflect if there's enough sunlight or not. This means at the time of recording when we've had a lot of dull weather, they haven't always shown as charging. That's because there hasn't been enough sunlight all of the time to charge them. What this means is I kind of expect that during the winter and autumn, they're going to get bits of charge throughout the day but not reach 100%, but in the summer they will reach 100% on those sunnier days. And with that 6 to 8 months battery life, this means that you will never need to charge them. Now of course, if you've got less tech-savvy family members, or maybe you want to use these in a guest room, you can also use that remote control to control them. Once again, this works well and responds quickly. My personal preference, however, in a smart home is to fully automate blinds. So let's get towards the end of this video and say, well, what's the verdict on the SmartWings smart blinds? And SmartWings do a lot of things really well. They've got a nice easy ordering process, they've got a massive range of blinds to choose from, and then they've got motors that are really reliable. There's also an option for whichever smart home technology you prefer. In addition to that, they're easy to fit. But are there any downsides? And in my opinion, the only downside to these is the price, because £400 for a set of blinds is expensive. But I do think that's worth putting in perspective. So if you compare them to other smart shades that are available in the UK, then actually they are cheaper. And I'd say they're cheaper without any compromise on quality. And that's the same thing I found with the Blinds Magic blinds I reviewed a while back. And of course you can just buy some blinds off the shelf and get something like a switchbot blind tilt, but because these are bespoke and the motor's built in, they do feel like a premium product. And so I do think the price will put some people off, but I do think the quality is worth the price. As a cat owner, this is especially true in that these blinds haven't been destroyed by the cats, but my Venetian blinds had been obliterated. If you've got any questions about these, do stick them below and I'll answer them for you. If you do want to pick some up or check out the range, I'll put a link below to the SmartWings website. That's an affiliate link, so if you use that link to make a purchase, that just helps this channel out at no cost to yourself. This isn't my full-time job, I never take sponsored videos, and I always want to make honest reviews for you guys, so if you can say thank you by using that link, it's very much appreciated. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys again soon.